Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Summit podcast. Rob made the mistake of allowing Chappell and myself to have a podcast all to our own, and we are here to talk about episode 2 of the Summit. Chappell, how you doing?
I'm good, Taran. Despite the fact that we just witnessed a murder, we witnessed a murder on this show, and I don't think people are talking about that enough. So I'm very happy I get to decompress with you.
This was like, on one hand, obviously extremely contrived. On the other hand, I don't care. They murdered a man.
They don't care, and I've never laughed so hard at watching a show. Everything about that scene was just perfect, and I want more. I want more of that.
It's like they were putting down a pet. Like,
bro,
come on, Bo. Come to us. It's gonna be okay. Like they're crying.
You're doing great. You're doing great, Bo. Like, dog, y'all can tell that man what y'all about to do. You don't have to blindside him.
I know.
Oh God, they don't know that they made a classic TV moment with that one. Because I'm telling you, watching them all cry and like, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. You're doing great, buddy. I'm gonna see you on the other side. Knowing that Jeff is about to like drop this man to his death, and then even when he falls, Jeff is still like, "We loved you, Bo."
Am I wrong? This should have been in the first episode. This should have been the first episode's thing.
Yeah. If they had done this, they should. Well, they thought about it. You know, in the first episode, they had the chance to do this. Right. They're like, "Nah, we won't do it. We'll throw Bo a ladder." But this time, the what is it? The is he the soul of the mountain, the watcher,
the mountain's keeper?
That the mountain's keeper decided, no, I need blood. I need you to murder somebody, and if you don't,
here's an axe.
Right, here's an axe. Also, the mountain keeper, they tried to kill Jeff too. Who drives flies a helicopter that close to a rickety bridge?
Right?
Yeah, they tried to kill him. I like this. I like this a lot. Keep this.
I enjoyed it. I like when they said it was gonna happen. I was like, well, they're kind of forcing the situation. I was like, oh, well, I don't know if I love this. I want them to have to make a choice to do it. I just want them to incentivize them properly. But then watching it play out, I was like, I don't really care because this is just beautiful.
Yeah, it was so good. Everybody crying. It was almost like a zombie attack. Like somebody got bit, and then the next person comes across and they bite them, and they're like, just so you know, like someone's gonna die, and they just pass it down until it ends up the worst pairing of all time. It's Patty and Bo, and Patty's like, I'm a safe place. People come to me and they love me and all this other stuff. And I'm like, Bo, he's not going to be okay with this. And you have to be the one to tell him. Tell Bo to come across the bridge so I can kill him. Oh, man, we need more of this. More of this in reality TV.
Come on over, Bo. It's going to be okay. You're doing it. You're doing a good job.
It's okay, Bo. It's all right. Bo, you got it. And then like Jeff, like through teary eyes, like cutting the axe. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Bo.
It was like we didn't have a choice. I promise. Like,
this mountain keeper's making us do it.
Right. And even the shot of Bo falling to his death. Production had too much fun with this. Like the bridge collapsing under him. There's no harness. It's just Bo dying. I was like, all right. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I love this.
I want every vote out to be this. I want them to have to like, just like stand on a bridge and then cut it, or like chuck them off the side of a cliff.
Yeah, what was that show? Was it Who Done It, where they manufactured the deaths for each of the characters in like the most absurd ways? They got to do that. So I saw in the preview for the next episode, there's like the world's longest ladder, and someone has to climb up. Like I want them to do that, like Acme style, like light it on fire, the rope ladder, and then like.
See, I was thinking like Lord of the Rings, like kick the ladder off the side of the thing. And then,
they really need to lean into that, because I think that makes the show like it's a show that's very serious. Manu Bennett is growling at us, so you got to take it seriously. But I think it's okay to have fun with this, despite the fact that they look like they were in hell. I would not want to be in this position. but it was still kind of funny. That's all I have to say.
It was very funny. Really like the highlight of the episode. It's interesting that there's still a social strategy game going on, and it certainly gets a bit more interesting in this episode as they're clearly starting to look at some of the stronger participants, players, hikers, climbers, and making some alliances, making some enemies. And I think that the social strategy element will also get more interesting. I just wish that they, instead of like raise of hands, sorry, go bye-bye, I just want it to be like each one of you will take an axe to the rope holding this person up.
Like the coconut challenge, everybody's hanging from the side of a mountain.
Yes.
And if I cut your rope, you're not. Yeah, it's like we upgraded the Big Brother key wheel. You know, it's like the person going home is going to go home, but only if they get that last chop. You know, and so I like this. We got to do more of this.
Yeah, maybe it's direct the helicopter to fly too close to someone.
Like, that was crazy to me. You cannot tell me it's safe. There's no way that really happened, right? There's no way the helicopter really was like, let me come and try to knock this grown man off the bridge, because that happened. That happened on this show. That has to be a health hazard.
It looked very, I think like the angle made it look very close, and maybe it wasn't quite as close, but it definitely seemed very close.
Yeah, he's swinging. You know, like we watched, Jeff was making like pretty good time, I think. And then the helicopter shows up. How could you be mad at me if the mountain keeper just decided to come sabotage me? Like, if I fall, and Jeff didn't fall, to his credit, he didn't fall. But if I fall at that, I don't want to hear about it later on. Like, well, you know, you messed up on that challenge. Like, bro, he flew in on a helicopter. Are you serious?
Yeah. He's keeping his mountain. I still don't understand why the mountain keeper is doing all of this. I hope there's something like, I hope there's a good plot twist to this story.
Right. I thought I heard Manu say that the mountain keeper was a she. And so I was thinking, oh, like, is there going to be like some big reveal of like who this woman is? I couldn't really tell. But, you know, him not wanting to pay all these people when they get to the summit, that makes sense, right? Like, okay, I need to start trimming the fat because I don't want to give you all the money. I want to make this harder for you. I want to maybe like cause some dissent amongst the ranks, you know, making you, you know, choosing who to pick over who in these like little mini challenges, so that when you go to vote, maybe there's a lot more, you know, like conniving, maneuvering behind scenes. But at the same time, I'm like, you could just do that. Like, you don't have to come and then also like try to rock the entire bridge. Like, I don't understand what that was about.
Hear me out, Chappell.
Okay.
The mountain keeper.
Yeah.
It's like Saw.
Ooh, okay. All right. Let's talk about it. The
mountain keeper is Tony.
Not Tony.
It's Tony.
It's Tony. We left him behind just coincidentally. And then like he went and got in the helicopter, and now he's getting his revenge. But why do you have to start with Bo?
I want to play a little game.
You should be sparing the
Tony.
Tony. No, and now Tony's gonna recruit Bo, and now there's gonna be multiple. There's gonna be multiple killers. I've seen the Saws. You know, we get a bunch of.
Yeah, everyone that gets murdered or left behind comes in at the end.
Yeah, or it's like a jury, kind of. You know,
yeah.
They're all bitter. Everybody's bitter. There's no vote. They're just gonna kill somebody.
They show up at the top of a ladder and they're just there to kick it down.
All unanimously swing one axe. You know. I'm okay with that. We don't really know what the end game is like. Taran, to me, I was thinking, just get up there, split the money. It's not that difficult. But the way it's already turning into an individual game this early in is kind of jarring, because there's an alliance targeting Jeff. And I don't know why. What does it benefit somebody to target a strong person right now when, from what we can tell, there can be multiple winners?
I mean, did you see the way he wielded that axe?
I mean, he did wield that axe. Maybe they're like, okay, if he'll kill Bo, he'll kill anybody. You can't trust him.
Yeah, I think we mentioned this for episode 1, but it really feels like they cast a bunch of, not a bunch, but like quite a few people who really wanted to play like Survivor or something.
Survivor, 100%.
They're all very much here to be like, I want to play Cutthroat, and I'm going to find a way to play Cutthroat and fun on this game of the summit. And I think Dennis is one of those people who's just
Mhm.
like he's just looking for ways to be devious and have fun, which look, I'm all in for.
Go for it.
Like let's have fun on the summit.
Yeah. I just wanna know, like, why everybody is so incentivized. Like to me, I think you want to have fun, but you also want to win. And I do think that maybe targeting a strong person who's keeping morale high, who's doing well in the challenges, might not be the best way to make it to the top. Especially if you have a chance to vote somebody out, choosing to vote out someone who's way slower just makes more sense. With Manu saying that you're not going to make it in time if you keep going get this pace. Cutting Jeff, I feel like that just makes the world harder for you to survive.
See, I just never believe, like, I just still don't believe Manu Bennett.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't. I knew you were like, "Are we gonna run out of time?"
Exactly. Like, I know this show needs to be a certain amount of episodes, sir.
Mm,
Like, there's gonna be some rubber banding at some point. This is definitely Mario Kart. I will have a chance to speed up at the end and win. I'm sure of it.
yeah, Blue Turtle Shell is coming soon. I don't know if I would even like that. Like, because I'm trying to think about how I would feel if they did go the entire season, 14 episodes, get to the end, and then they're like, "And to the winner, we have nothing. You didn't make it in time," and
Right?
just they just throw the money off the mountain. Everything has to go off the mountain at this point. Throw the money off the mountain, and they have to watch it like fall to its death. I would be okay with that. I don't necessarily need a winner if they're going to make it last long and be dramatic.
The after credit scene is like some intern like walking down the mountain to pick up the money.
picking it up dollar bill by dollar
Yeah.
bill, like once at a time with one of those like poking things, like those trash picker uppers. Yeah, like just throwing it in the backpack. I think that they don't necessarily have to finish in time for this to still work.
I think that's fair. I think that there definitely is a reluctance to not give some kind of prize and not have some kind of winner, because
Mhm,
I think it's the whole point is that you're rooting for these people by the end. If you're not rooting for them, what are you watching for most of the time? Especially like the general audience. And so if you're rooting for them and then they fail and they don't win anything, you're kind of disappointed in the end of the show. I think if you're like a casual viewer. So I like that would be my expectation coming in would be I think it's not super likely that they don't give away a prize. So I'm going to feel relatively free to play the game that suits my winning chances the most in terms of like
mhm.
maintaining a majority. And then I'll focus on speed after that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like I said, my instinct is that whatever. This is a TV show. You wanna be able to throw this big old pile of money at somebody so that next season people can apply and say I want to go and try to win the money too. But at the same time, if they didn't do it, the way I laughed today, that laugh is coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like I would think it's so funny because this show really does feel like it's taking itself seriously, when in a lot of ways it's very goofy.
Well, especially if it is like, let's say they make it to the top, but they didn't make it in time. So
Mm.
then it's like, okay, you didn't make it in time, but you still have a chance to win the money.
Oh.
Here's how.
Mhm.
Every person that you left behind gets gets a share of the money that they are allowed to give to you
Mm.
at their will. They can choose whether you win that money or don't win that money. And so one by one, Tony, Bo,
I'm
every
the
other person
brave.
is like, my pack of money, I'm not you're not getting it.
Yeah.
You don't and he does and Bo doesn't get it either. He just says,
Mhm.
nobody gets this. I don't
Nobody
think you
gets it.
deserve it. You cut that rope. You left me behind.
The bitter bow. I like it. I do. I like anything that's going to make them make hard decisions. And again, if you're going to make them climb a mountain and they don't follow the rules by getting there in time, they got to be punished. I think you have to set a precedent for if you don't do what we're asking you to do, you can't win. I think in other games, we know that there's going to be a winner and they're going to win this amount of money no matter what. You just have to be the person who they choose. If the win condition in this game is that you get up there in time, you lost. Now, what are you going to do to fix that? And if it comes down to a vote, or with people being able to hold their money hostage and leaning into the social aspects of the game, maybe that would be something that we could see happening, because with the way Shweta was voted out, I could definitely see her telling a few people, nah, you can't have my money.
Yeah. I will say this. I think what could work to not give them money is to say, okay, you made it up the mountain, but you didn't make it in time. You will not win this money, but you have a spot on season 2 of the summit.
Ooh, yeah,
You can
and
try again.
let's roll the prize pot over too. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say next
Ooh.
season we incentivize more people. That's what I'm saying. You got to keep people coming back for more.
I mean, that's like, because I'm thinking of like American Ninja Warrior, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Which is much more of a challenge focused show, obviously, but like it's rare for somebody to win that show,
Mhm.
and you come in with that expectation. But because you're seeing the same people come back and try again every time, it's like, well, who made it the furthest? Like they're kind of the winner of that season, even though they didn't win the whole thing. And I hope that they come back and do well next time. So,
Yeah.
maybe there's something there too.
I would like that. I would like to see some of the all-stars. It's 2 episodes in it, but I'm already thinking about how we can punch this up for season 2 because CBS seems to really want us to watch the show. I mean, how many trailers have we seen about this damn show already? And so I'm hoping that even if they don't give away any money, they can still spice it up for next year.
Speaking of spicing it up, Chappelle, do they have anything other than bridges?
I don't know. I mean, you're more of the climber, but this is more like hiking, right? Like in my
Yeah.
mind, a lot of this is just like, going up some rough terrain and then there's some chasms, there's some big old holes. But I would have to imagine maybe like water would probably be something that would be fun to take into consideration if they could do that. I don't know if there's any, we saw a body of water in this one. There's a waterfall. And
I'm
then
sure we will. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next one I saw, it wasn't like a bridge, it was more like a ladder. And so I think the ladder could be fun. But they gotta spice it up. There's not much out here.
It's just weird to me. Like I'm sure they will have a wider variety of challenges, but like for the first 2 episodes to be almost the same thing.
Yeah,
Like here's a
basically.
bridge you have to come across. Here's another bridge you have to come across. Will you leave somebody behind? You will definitely leave somebody behind. Like
Is it the
usually
same
you'd want a
exact
little more
person?
variety early on.
Yeah, especially when it's him twice. It's like, what tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z, and it's still Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still Bo. It's like we're still doing this. 8 episodes later, we're still waiting on Goku on Snake Way. And so I think that to avoid that, you got to spice it up. But how, right? Like, is there maybe like a zip line they can do? Or I'm trying to put myself in the mind of like in the wilderness, what obstacles would you have climbing a mountain?
Yeah, I mean, I think body of like crossing a river makes some
Yeah.
sense. I think, and it does not. I don't think it always has to be like a traverse either. Like it could be,
Mm,
like you have to do a task.
yeah.
Like I know they do like the checkpoint camps, but like maybe it's like in order to make this checkpoint work, you need to accomplish a certain amount of things.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you don't get the full checkpoint. You have to go on your thingies.
Yeah. I the I'm leaning on zip line right now. It's kind of like I'm gonna plant my flag right there because hear me out. Although it's a traverse, it also has an opportunity for someone to grab an axe and cut it while somebody. And I'm sorry, I cannot pass that up.
Come on, come down the zip line. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be
I'm
okay.
coming, guys. I'm coming.
Do you think anybody now who is like
Fuck no.
going across anything is just gonna be
Uh-uh.
like, don't you be pulling out an axe on me?
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Well, just that's the thing. The first time when we watched Bo go through this, I thought Bo was gone the first time, right? I thought they were
Mhm.
gonna just take the bridge and be like, all right, Bo, sorry, them's the breaks. But they brought it back a second time. So I'm thinking that there's gonna be some times where it's like, it's fine. It's just come on across. We'll come back and get you. And other times where it's like, it's not so fine. Maybe they'll look for volunteers to be last or something like that. Because it's like, no, I promise, we'll come get you. We have this thing, we have this other rope. Or it could be a big old setup and you could be about to be falling to your death.
Okay, what happens if Jeff starts cutting the bridge with the axe
Uh-huh.
and Bo kicks it into high gear? He kicks those calves
And
into
he
high
yanks it
gear
across.
and just rushes, starts just booking it across the bridge and just
Yeah.
like does a movie leap, grabs onto the edge and survives. What happens?
Jeff, you know what you gotta do.
I think it's Jeff, right? I think Jeff has to get kicked off the
He's got to
edge.
do it. Yeah, it's either that or he needs to kick Bo off the edge. If Bo is hanging by his 4 little piggies, you gotta start to pry them away, Jeff. It's either
You
you
got
or
to
Bo.
Mufasa him.
You got to. Sometimes you have to Mufasa people, Taran, and people don't talk about that enough. I can see it. I can see it. That's all
I
I'm
think
saying.
that should be a mechanic. If you have to chop someone off, you got to give them the chance to beat you to it. Really,
Right. Or even better, what if they say, "Hey, it's between Patty and Bo. Patty, come on across." And Bo's like, "F that." And he just goes. Like now cut the rope. You're losing me and Patty. What about that? I'm just saying, I wouldn't allow somebody to choose me last. Like I would throw, you know what I would do? I would throw a whole fit. Like I would completely like commandeer something and be like, we will sit here all night. We will miss the checkpoint. I'm going next, or no one's going. I will stand here, or I'll cut the rope if you're trying to cross it.
Yeah, I'll get my own axe.
Yeah. Look, why not? These things only have so many planks anyway. Just take one and throw it, and say, all right, the next one, someone's gonna get it, but I'm not throwing out any more of these planks until I go. Because I don't even think they lost that many in the challenge. I think only one person, Dennis, dropped 2 planks. Everybody else seemed to do it just fine. So I would be like, all right, bank on that. Give me the planks. And if I don't get to go next, I'll drop one. For every person who goes without me going, I'm dropping a plank off the side of the mountain. We got to use the side of the mountain as a prop more. It's the most important part of the show.
Honestly, I feel like the planks made it harder.
You think so? Carrying
They're
them
trying to
probably
carry
did, for
the
sure.
planks. It makes it so much harder. If you were able to just grip both hands on the rope, like as you're moving across, I think you probably would have been fine.
I think that's what they a lot of them ended up doing anyway. It was all right.
Mhm.
There's like they dropped the plank for the next person, and then they still got to a point where there's this big ass gap where they just like kind of have to, like you said, grab both sides and go for it. A few people had some really good times. It looked like they keep talking about how Taran is saying, "Oh, I'm afraid of heights." Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. If you were afraid of heights, you would not be able to do this. You might have been afraid of heights before you went on the show. You've conquered it. You won. I don't think you can argue that you're afraid of heights anymore.
Mm. Well, on the social strategy side of things, we talked about this already. They starting to talk about Jeff, and I believe Pumpkin is going to give Jeff a little bit of a heads up as well. Like, hey, I think they're looking at you, potentially causing a little bit of tension here, a little bit of civil strife within the faster crew of people. And this feels to me like something that is obviously going to start to bear fruit in the coming episodes.
Right. We see this powwow that they were having in the middle of the night where Sweta, Becky Lee, Dennis, and Pumpkin are sitting around and they're like, all right, so let's just get this out of the way. We can't let Jeff get to the end. I'm thinking, why not? Is there some type of like, is he a jury threat? What are you saying this for?
He's gonna
Okay.
cut them with the axe.
Okay, well, look, don't be last. Like someone's gonna get cut. So I was like, okay, what are they doing? But Pumpkin runs this back to Jeff, and Jeff's like, oh dang, really? And the show really like pours it on thick when it comes to Jeff. Like they're like, no, Jeff is the most likable human who ever existed, the most athletic human. He's perfect. He's also a mind reader because he studied cognitive behavior development and stuff like that. He got a PhD. He reads people. We can't let this man get to the end. I was like, damn, it sucks to be good at stuff because they hate him.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like they could probably illuminate a little bit more on the strategy here. Like, why do they feel like he is such a threat? If they have the numbers to take him out, do they feel like he is so like likable that he would be able to pull numbers from them? Because you're right. Like, it's not like, as far as we know, that there is a jury system. It's not like there are such a thing. It's not like there's such a thing as an end game threat. It's more like, what is a group of people that I can take to the end, like guaranteed. I guess, you can calculate how many checkpoints do we have left. We're going to vote out somebody at each checkpoint, and then theoretically, we've now found out that we can be forced to eliminate somebody on the way. So like you could start to estimate how many people do we expect to make it to the end. And so, you might want to start playing in advance for like, okay, well, if Jeff controls 4 people and
Mm.
I have, 3 people, but I could get numbers to get Jeff out right now and cut that off. Like maybe it makes sense to make that move, but I just feel like that's a level of strategy we're not getting in the show right now.
Yeah. If you tell me that there's only 5 people who can win, then at that point I'm like, okay, maybe you should be targeting Jeff, right? Because if you're looking at Jeff as somebody who's locking in a spot, right? He's that guaranteed GOAT spot in the final 2 or whatever that you just can't get rid of. Then you're like, yeah, I need him out so I can make sure I get a spot. Because maybe if it comes down to a public vote, people aren't willing to choose me over Jeff. And we did kind of see that in this episode with the elimination. Shweta's name is floated out. And people are like, yeah, you're not really the most likable. Well, we're not really, we don't know. We're not really fooling with it. Anybody else? Well, I heard Jeff's name. Oh, yeah, y'all heard Jeff's name? That's crazy. Who wants to vote for Jeff? Crickets. It's like, I don't want to be the one to throw Jeff's name out, because if he doesn't go, he's probably going to stick around for a while, and he might have some power in, being able to sway some of these votes your way. So I could see it.
Yeah, and there's a danger of being like a social strategy person in a cast of non-social strategy people. It seems like these social strategy people are kind of bonding and working together for the most part.
Mm.
But being the first person to push somebody like that can really backfire on you. And you kind of have to go with the vibe of the crew you're working with. So you have to be very careful about what you push. And clearly, this has not quite worked yet. And so it definitely has a chance to backfire. And from what I'm seeing, I think I saw in like the preview, like Dennis was kind of like, yeah, like I'm a villain, kind of like confessional, which to me indicates like, yeah, that's usually the kind of thing that you say when you got caught and now you have to embrace your role, right?
Yeah, and Shweta was a villain too, and she's gone. So you don't want to be the squeaky wheel at all, because people are going to look in your direction. And I think she realistically said, "All right, I controlled the vote the first time. People know, people saw me. No one mentions that about the first vote, that it's actually Shweta who gets credit for that move. But she did enough talking to where all eyes were on her, and she wasn't able to go back under the radar. For someone like Dennis who wants to play an outwardly strategic game, that's something to be careful of. And I think on the other side, Jeff, someone who's not really playing strategically right now, at least it doesn't seem that way. You got to keep your head on the swivel. These people are coming after you. I think these people wanted to play a different game, a social strategy game that would allow them to make these moves. And they're looking at you as the potential trophy to put on their mantle. Like, how do you become a legend in these reality TV streets? You take out a big threat. And so everybody needs to be on alert.
Yeah, you got to slay the dragon.
Got to. And Jump's the dragon right now. I don't know if he knows it, but everybody wants to slay him.
So some interesting stuff there. I'm curious to see what a different challenge looks like. What it looks like to like. I hope that not every challenge is like elect a leader. The leader goes first. The leader decides who goes last. You have the option, or sometimes not the option, of taking out the person that goes last. Hopefully, we get some more creativity, because I feel like there's so many options that we have in terms of murdering people on this mountain. So
Yeah, and it feels like they're always going to pick like maybe a more athletic person to be the leader. So we're going to get a lot of the same types of decisions. I would love to see what Amy would do in a spot where she's the leader, now that she's kind of like the dynamic is switching up a little bit more. Maybe even camp counselor Robert, what would he do? Taran, I put this in my notes. I have to ask, how do you feel about camp counselor Robert? Because for some reason, I just feel like this particular brand of positivity would be a little bit under your skin if you were climbing a mountain.
I feel like he wasn't. I feel like he was less irritating in the second episode than the first, when they were really like hammering home the like, all right, everyone, time to sit down and do your socks.
Mhm.
That would certainly not be up my alley. But it seemed like he has like a more chill gear to him as well, that I think would probably be fine.
I would love for him to get that gear. I think in this episode there was a moment, I forget who it was crossing the bridge, and he's like, "You got it. That's it. Take us there." She's like, "Stop." And it's just like the music cuts, everybody cuts and looks at him. He's just kind of sitting there like, "Oops," And so I can see that backfiring on him. But put him in more of a leadership role. Where's some of these other people we've seen, like Jimmy is barely in the show right now, Jeannie as well. Like, bring back some of these bigger personalities and let them start doing some talking. Because the athletic people, a little boring, just a little bit.
Yeah, I will say, I think that one of the things holding the show back right now for me is that there are so many people.
Yeah.
And we've watched 2 like 90-minute episodes of this show, and I feel like I'm still not super solid on like all of the names and faces and like motivations and stuff, which is fair. Like, you watch Survivor, it's not like you instantly are able to pick everyone up, but like, you know, after 2 hours of Survivor, I feel like I'm usually a lot more into it and knowledgeable about the various structures of things than I am
Mhm.
with this. I mean, it's not a fair comparison, because Survivor has tribes to help separate things out into different storylines, but I do wish that we could get a slightly better sense of like where all these people are and where they and where they stand and stuff.
Yeah, we need kind of like the Big Brother thing where they come in and they tell us who they're aligned with. Like come in and
Mhm.
like do the little graphic on the screen, like, okay, for me, it's this person, this person, this person, this person, and this person's in the middle. We kind of heard that here. I think Taran is in the middle, kind of with like Jeff and Pumpkin on one side, and then you got what was Shweta, Becky Lee, and Dennis on the other side. Now it's just Becky Lee and Dennis, and to me, Becky Lee is a little bit more fluid strategically than Dennis might be. So, give us more of that. So we'll kind of have a good vibe on who's going to get voted out when it's time and who would be backstabbed by something like that, right? Because they all piled on Shweta and she was upset about it, but there's nothing she can do about it. She's gone. I want to know how these votes are affecting the other people who are voting out some of their allies.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see. I think this show has a lot of promise, a lot of potential for entertainment. I think 90 minutes can be tough, especially for a new show. So seeing if it's able to carry 90 minutes for as many episodes as it seemingly will have will be interesting. But look, I'm excited to watch a ladder.
Yeah. Look, especially if someone's gonna kill someone again,
Yeah.
like if someone's gonna cut the ladder, I'm there. I think that this show has the right personalities to be very entertaining because, like you said, these people, a lot of them are social strategy minded. Nick's talking about how I'm an alpha, I'm a real alpha here, but I'm letting everybody else think they're the alpha because like I need to be socially aware of where I stand. Like those are the cool things I want to hear, but also I want to see you do something with it, right? Like I don't want the whole like, should we get Jeff? Should we get Jeff? And then when we get to vote, everybody's like, nah, let's just get Shweta. It's cool. They should be put in more situations where the social dynamics make bigger choices instead of just, hey, can you cross this bridge? Maybe like who gets the most food tonight, or who gets to sleep in a sleeping bag versus on the ground, or something like that. I want to see these alliances start to pay off and the show really start to utilize some of these big personalities that they've gone and got from these other casting calls.
Yeah, it feels like the show is still trying to find its identity. Like
Yeah.
we've got the sort of like, oh, we're all on a journey together, accomplishing a single goal vibe. We've got the social strategy vibe. We've got this very over the top, I'm murdering Bo vibe.
Yes.
And I think that's the one it should lean into the most. And I hope that it continues to. But it still feels like it's feeling itself out in terms of like what is the summit as a show, because there's a lot of different elements that are involved, and none of them seem to like really be like the main identity yet.
Great point. It feels like the mountain's keeper. What do they call this person again?
The
This is
Mountain Keeper, yeah.
the mountain's keeper feels like the banker from Deal or No Deal Island. It feels
Mhm.
like they took that, they said that worked. Let's give you a mysterious person calling the shot from behind the scenes. Bet we have that. Then you have the social strategy elements. When I saw Jeannie and Amy kind of are like bumping heads now because it's like, well, she voted out a mom. How could she? I was like, oh God, this is a tough season for voting out moms. And so I was like, I want to see if that will pay off in any way. Like, is Amy going to sit down and say, all right, let's float Jeannie's name out there. She can't be trusted. She voted out a mom or a married mom. But no, we don't really see a lot of that. And so I think that you have these aspects of these games, you put them all together, and now you're working on what point of view is this show going to have? Is the real villain the mountain? Is the villain the mountain's keeper? Or is it the people that you have to manage? I don't think we have enough information yet to know.
Yeah. But we will hopefully find out, Chappelle. Anything else from this episode that we should touch on?
No, I mean there were some good moments from like the pecking order thing that they did with the safety chain. That was pretty cool. People really spending a lot of time, Taran, to make those decisions, honestly. Like don't get me wrong, it's tough because you are sentencing someone to be murdered. But at the same time, like you're in a race. It feels like the way they were doing this was probably the least efficient. And to me, I'm just like, just pick somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's not gonna make it up the mountain. Just pick somebody. I don't
You
know.
know it's gonna be Bo at the end, you
You
know.
knew they knew it was gonna be Bo. Stop it. Stop it. Like it was supposed to be Bo yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like Bo is on borrowed time. I think it was Jeannie who
He's
said
on
that too.
Bo
Like,
Road time.
He is, or at least he was. He's dead now. But I think it was Jeannie who said, yeah, we carried Bo's bag day one. He didn't cross the bridge day two. How many chances are you going to get? I was like, that's only like one thing. It's not his fault. He was picked last at the bridge. But yeah, so give me more of that, more of these personalities. I think another personality that really stood out to me was Dusty, because
Mhm.
Dusty, this is a great way to get fans. Definitely go on TV and tell people how being unhealthy is their pet peeve. Definitely tell people that. That's going to get you a lot of fans. I imagine Facebook is not very happy with you right now, um, because that was a choice. But I think that characters like Dusty, you need them on a show like this, because
Mhm.
they're not really going to do a lot of the politicking and stuff like that. They're going to want people out with bad vibes. They're going to want people out who are moving slow, and they're going to be trying to keep their eye on this money. So I want to see more of people like Dusty, Jenny, wherever she is, and definitely like, the Becky Lees of the world, because Becky Lee is another gamer who came here to play.
Yes, Becky Lee. I have my eye on Becky Lee. I feel like she's got main character energy in the edit
Yes.
so far. She seems to have like a level head there for strategy, but not overtly so. Physical enough to handle a lot of things. So she's definitely somebody I feel like I'm watching out for.
Yeah, she's like, she feels like what if we were doing a draft, like somebody who like you could like, okay, she seems like she has it all. Let's just see
Mhm.
if she's able to do like get to the top. I don't see any world where you would want to vote her out, unless she does something overtly just bad. Like I don't really see it. But if we get down to like maybe we only have 6 spots or 5 spots, and she's number 6, it wouldn't be awful probably, for people to say, all right, well, it's either you or me. It's gonna be you. So I think she's safe for now, but that could change.
Mhm. Yeah. Apart from that, yeah, I think you already touched on most of the other like big characters so far. So, um, I think that's what we got for episode 2.
Yeah, we're down to 13 people, and I don't know what the prize pot is right now. We started off the episode with like 93,000, no, 937,000, I think it was.
Something
Uh,
like that.
yeah, I don't know do you know how much money they lost with Bo? I have no clue.
I mean, it's like however many there's how many people total? 18,
Listen,
16?
please. Well, I think it started off 16, and then we lost 2 in episode 1, and then we lost Bo here, and then we lost Bo and Shweta, so we're actually down 4 people total so far.
Mhm. So it's also interesting because I guess when somebody gets voted out, their money goes back in, but then you lose that. So I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it seems like they'll probably go down to like below 800,000 at least
Yeah.
by the end of the season.
They were forced to kill Bo. Did they lose his money?
Yes,
That's
yes,
weird. Doesn't that
that's what
feel
I
weird?
was like not pleased about that. And then it was
Yeah.
so entertaining that I was like, that's chill. I'm fine with it. But like, it was messed up
Yeah.
that they
Is
were forced to lose that money.
is there a way they could have killed Bo and kept the money? Like how do
I
you
don't
get
think so.
Bo to
I
give like Bo, let me hold your backpack while you cross the bridge. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah.
I agree. There needs to be a mechanic to keep the money, I think.
Yeah. What's like if we lose somebody, fine. Like that makes sense. We lost them, their money is gone, it's void, all that kind of stuff, it's out of play, whatever. But if you're making us cut somebody, it's like, yeah, we're just gonna take some money out the pot. Why? What is that going to do? So I don't know. I think in the future, you have to be able to convince the person to give you the money. I think that is a great element, because think about it. You got Patty and Bo, the last 2 people, and Patty's like, Bo, I'll see you on the other side. He's like, yeah, I got you, Patty. And then before Patty goes, like, hey, Bo, you think I can hold that money for you? It's like, why? Why do you want it? It's good. No reason. I just wanted to take you with me. Like, I want that kind of thing. So make Patty look Bo in the eye as she betrays him.
Yeah, and like if you're gonna force them to lose money, like it should be in response to them not making a checkpoint or something, right?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
because you didn't make the checkpoint in the last episode, you are now forced to lose somebody on the bridge this episode, and that's like a real, tangible, immediate response to going slow, and it gives you incentive to vote out slow people because you're losing money every time you are not voting people out, instead choosing to murder people. So
Yeah.
I again, mechanically, it's still, I think, working out some kinks here, but
Yeah.
we'll
It's
see.
it feels like production could potentially have too much say so in how this goes, you know, like, and though that, I mean, that's fair in any game. I think it could happen anywhere, but in this particular game, it's like, who's to say they didn't make it on time, right? Like, they don't have a watch. I don't think I haven't
Yeah.
seen them like kind of like I would love that, like where you're like somebody is tapping their foot like Sonic the Hedgehog, looking at their like, what is, you know, like, hey, come on,
I
we're
think
not
their
out of time
watch
here.
is Manu Bennett. It's just
Yo,
like, hey, what's the time?
yeah, yeah. He shows up.
You need to go faster if you plan to reach the summit.
Yeah, that's what he did. He
Okay,
showed up out
good.
of the
Thanks,
woods.
Manu. That was helpful.
He showed up out of the woods. Like it, like, all right, just letting y'all know this ain't good enough. It's like, all right, damn. Well, how are we supposed to know?
But imagine he comes over, he's like, you're actually ahead of schedule.
Great job.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah,
Manu Bennett.
that was cool.
You're
That was cool.
welcome.
Still got to vote somebody out. You know, like, give me that axe. I don't know. I think because it's so early in the show and that like this is only season one, there's probably a lot of things that they can do. But right now, I think it's doing well. You know, I think the first episode was funny. Well, the second episode was funny. I think that I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, but I definitely laughed. Bo dying was hilarious. I'm sorry, Bo. R.I.P. to Bo. And all, and, you know, thoughts and prayers to his family. But it was hilarious. It really was. I want them, like you said, to lean into that. Make the show very entertaining for everybody. You know, if I don't care about a mountain, what about this show do I care about? The social strategy really isn't coming into play that much right now. So at least make it fun. Is it okay if the people have fun? I would like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to episode 3. See what they can do. I'm surprised that 2 episodes in, I'm still looking forward to more episodes. It's not a usual thing with new reality shows. So we'll see where they go from here. But in the meantime, we'll be sticking around. We'll be back for episode
Yeah.
3. We'll talk it through. We'll have a good time, Chappelle.
Yes. Hopefully more people get murdered and then we have more to laugh at. I had tears in my eyes. I'm not lying. It was hilarious.
I think that they should have the option if they climb a ladder and they can have the option of like either kicking it down or chopping it down or burning it. It should be like, all right, there's 4 people left down there. At any time, you can now chop the ladder.
Anytime. You're like, who's down there? Is it Jeff? You know, like you're like, chop it down, chop it down.
But you lose their money, so it's like, I don't know how
Damn
many
it.
people I want to
But,
murder.
but you could go get the money. You can coerce them. See if someone will give you the money. I'm
Mm,
telling you, let me
yeah.
extort somebody. We can do
Yeah,
this.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, stay tuned for next week. We'll talk about episode 3 of The Summit.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, check out all of the other coverage we've got going on here at RHAP. We talked about jet lag recently. In fact, we interviewed the jet
Ooh.
laggers. Did a deep dive on the latest season of Tag. So check that interview out. Should be it was very fun. And over at We Know Scripted TV, we're talking horror stuff this month. We're talking all the new shows and movies that are coming out. Lots of good stuff going on over there. And of course, Big Brother, The Circle, all that good stuff. Chappelle, how about you?
Recap Kickback is where you can find me. Of course, I'm doing all this podcasting on RHAP, but I have my own podcast, recapkickback.com. I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/@recapkickback. Go hit that subscribe button. Let me know that you want to see and hear more things from me and some of my guests over there. We have the Walking Dead coverage that for season 2 of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, aka The Book of Carol. If you missed the Walking Dead coverage that we used to have on We Know Scripted / post show recap, well, it's back and it's on Recap Kickback. Check it out. It's me, AJ Mash, Josh Wigler, and Jessica Leese. And then, of course, Mari is on every week to talk with the Black entertainment news of the week and some of the things that we're watching, including How to Die Alone on Hulu. So check all that out by subscribing to Recap Kickback at recapkickback.com/subscribe.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today. And we will see all of you across that bridge next time on The
Not you, bro.
Summit.